today what I'm going to be doing is some experiments with polymer clay and resin. Now, I've had this Fimo for a long time. I do wrap it up and try and keep it moist, but obviously it's not been used for a long time and it's brick hard. Now, that is going to take me a lot of work and pain in my hands because I'm starting to get a little bit of arthritis in my hands to get that to soften up. So what I'm going to do, as I showed on my previous channel, is I'm going to unwrap it like that and then pop it into my Resin's tumbler curer. Now this works really well for this and so many other things. I've made myself my own little door now. Look, craft more, worry less. My mantra from now on. What I found is if I pop that in there and turn that on, within about 10 minutes that becomes really workable and it keeps it workable and no more pain in the hands. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick all my colours in there so they're getting lovely and soft so that I can easily work them. And it's not going to bake it in any way, shape or form because it doesn't get to the temperature where it's going to bake. So what I'm going to do is use these moulds to make some jewellery and some earrings and some little inserts. And what I'm now going to test is whether I can actually bake this in these silicone moulds. I'm hoping it's not going to damage the silicone moulds, but I have got duplicates of all these moulds in case it does damage them, but I don't think it will. It's not going to be a real high temperature. That's been in there about 3 minutes so far, but let me show you how much easier it is already. Look, it's already starting to soften up and I can move it around. Now, that clay will have dried out a little bit as well, being in there, and you can buy Sculpting thinner and clay softener and it works really well. But I've been seeing on lots of other YouTube channels over the years that baby oil works just as well, does exactly the same job. So I've got some baby oil in there and it's so much cheaper and I'll be using that. Well, that's about 6 minutes in there now, so I should be able to take some of this out. Look how lovely and soft that is. Beautiful. And now what I'll do is I'll pop my door on and I'll turn it off, and if I need to turn it on again just to give it a little bit more heat, I can. Now what I'm going to do to start with is try my letters. Now I'm no expert in using polymer clay, I'm just having to play around with it to see what we can do. There is one real good massive expert in my group, Rhonda, and she is amazing. So if you want to tap into any of the experts in the group, then become a member because it's well worth joining. I'm sure my members will tell you about all the additional perks they get and discount codes they get that really actually pays for itself. So they're brilliant. Here are all my members' names coming up. So what I'm doing is I'm pushing this in here as much as I can so it's nice and flat. Oh, look how easy that went in there because you heard how brick hard it was. So that's the S because I'm obviously going to do S and M. I'll probably do quite a few different colours of the letters as well. And I've got 2 of these smaller letter moulds. And I'll link everything that I use in the description below. It saves you having to look for it or wonder where I get it from. Well, my letters are done now because I've got something in mind for them. I want to get them baked. Now I do want to smooth them out a little bit, even though this is the back, and all I'm doing is putting a tiny bit of baby oil on there and using one of these little silicone tools to give it a bit of a smooth out. It doesn't need to be too smooth, but I want it a little bit smoother than what I've got it. And now what I'm going to do is pop those in the oven for the recommended baking time. While they're baking, what I want to do is make some more. So I've got some random colours here that I've just put together, and all I'm going to do is kind of swirl them together like this. I'm trying to get a bit of a tie-dye effect going on in this one, so I don't want to turn them too muddy, although I probably will because you know what I'm like. And then all I'm going to do with this one is push that into this mould. Now I don't want it to fill the mould completely if I can help it. I may have to take a little bit out of there without cutting that mould, and you'll see why once it's baked. And then I'm going to give this a bit of a shape here, and I'm adding some texture into that as well. Keep forgetting to clean my hands after each use because that way I don't actually keep contaminating each of the clays. I'm going to make these 2 earrings. For this one I'm going to make them yellow. Oh, look how lovely and soft that is. See, I still haven't cleaned my hands properly. But I want to put some details in them. So first of all, I'm going to put my clay in there quite firm. So to make sure I've got it all the way in, I definitely need to clean my hands a little bit better. Look at that. I'm getting dirty footprints because my hands are feet. Now, all I'm doing is getting rid of some of that excess. Hopefully not cutting that mould too much or at all, really. I suppose I could do this without it in a blade. Oh my God, how have I got that colour in there? And now I'm just pushing that into all the areas so it's fully shaped. So now all I want to do is go in with this all the way down here, like that. I've got a little space. And now I'm going to take a different colour clay, roll a thin little line of it, and push that into there. There's probably a lot better way of doing this than I'm doing it. But you know me, like a bull in a china shop, I got to go straight for it. Now I'm going to take a bit of this and smooth it out and make it all grubby. I'm going to take my blade and gently run that over there before I put it in the oven, so it's nice and clean and tidy again. And then I'm going to do the other one exactly the same and bake them, and we can see what they're going to look like. So those two are done and can be put aside ready for baking. And now I'm going to do some different bits and pieces in these ones as well. I'm not going to bore you with showing you all those that I'm going to do, but I'm going to show you how I'm going to then add the resin to it and turn it into some fun jewelry. Well, I've got these done now, and that didn't take too long, and I just made up some patterns, really, which is what I love to do. I'm now going to bake these in their mould in the oven for the recommended period of time for the recommended heat. Well, these have all finished baking now, and on the whole, they've come out really well. Absolutely nothing happened to the moulds whatsoever. But what I did find is I had a few colours that weren't primo. They were a cheap polymer clay I'd bought a long time ago, and to be honest, they didn't bake. They've baked, but they haven't baked very hard, so I'm not going to be using those, and I probably won't use that clay. Whether the clay's gone off after being opened for several years or not, I don't know, but we will see. But the primo ones, they have baked beautifully and hard. Look at that, and no problems whatsoever being in that mold. There we go. Look at the earrings. They have come out really well. Very pleased with them. Although that is a bit messy, that one, but I got much better on the second one. I was a much cleaner worker. A great way of making your own little letters as well. If you want to make your own little letters. And these ones seem to have all come out really well. I didn't use much of that other clay in them, which is just as well. Some of these I'm going to leave in the actual molds while I do this next stage, and that is just fill them up with a UV resin. Now I'm only using a low viscosity here, the J Diction's low viscosity, because I'm not sure if I'm going to dome them or not, but I'll have a look once they're done. But some of them I filled up too high, like this one, to be able to finish them off in the actual mould. So once I've finished these ones, look how much the colour comes out of them once you've put this resin in. Beautiful. It really does bring the colour out. Lovely. Got a little fly in that one. And this one I left a little, like a dent in the middle. I purposely hollowed it out to be able to put this deeper in the middle, and hopefully it will magnify it. As I said, I'm no expert in this, and if you want an expert in polymer clay, then there's plenty in my group, but I do like to have a little play. And for this one, I purposely left the edges clear because I want to put some really good sparkle into this. So all I'm doing is mixing some lovely sparkle into the UV resin, and again I'm using the low viscosity one here because I'll definitely, once that's cured, we'll give that another coat. And I'm going to use me a giant super J Diction lamp to be able to cure these up. I'm just going to pop over them with a little long neck lighter because there's a few bubbles that have come up. There's one trapped in the edge there, look. So I'm going to cure those all up at once for 180 seconds. And while they're curing up, I can be deciding what I want to do with these. So they're cured up nice, and what I did was I poured a little bit of this that I had left in there and added those two letters. Well, I haven't added those letters yet because I'm going to. And how I'm going to do that is by popping a little bit of UV resin on the back of those and moving that around till I've got it where I want it. I was going to put the S&M one in there, but the white didn't look as good, so I thought I'd show what you can do in this. And I'm going to level that up, and then I'm going to turn that off and then turn that upside down and cure that up from underneath just for a couple of seconds. These are all cured now and ready to do the next stage. So I should be able to take these out easily now. You see, look, that one has got a bit of that in there that didn't cure, and that is that one. So that is no good. Didn't realise that, so that's going to have to go, and I'm going to get rid of that clay as well. Actually, I won't get rid of it. Has anybody got a reason why that won't have cured? I baked it at the temperature that it said on the packet and for the amount of time. I'm not sure why that particular cheap clay didn't cure. So let me know in the comments what you think, why it wouldn't have cured. Oh, I hope there's none in anywhere else. Oh, that's really pretty. And now I've got that done, what I'm going to do is fill that up now with some UV resin. These are all finished now, and it's a bit of a mixed bag, to be honest. I think what this has definitely shown me is I need a lot more practice using polymer clay, and I need to get probably the Sculpey and the Primo, the good quality polymer clays, because that cheap one just didn't really do anything. I love the earrings. I think they're definitely a success. And the B&R and the little letters as well. I think they're definitely a success. Easy to make and they baked lovely. No problems at all with anything being baked inside the molds. The molds are perfect. They're as good as they were when I first put them in. I do like that one. That one I think looks a bit manky. And that one's quite pretty. The colours do come out. And that one, I think I probably resined the wrong side. I should have resined that side. But overall, not too bad. I've definitely got a lot more to learn. And as I get better, I'll hopefully share my journey with you as well. If you've got any tips and tricks that you want to share with me, then please leave them in the comments. I love reading them. It really is helpful. Be sure to check out the video that I've got coming up next. I think you'll like that one. Take care. Enjoy your resin. Bye.